had reset my camera rig elsewhere for a video meeting thing and forgot. So then I came into stream and realized that I had to reset everything. How's my sound? How's my light? Hi! So I think I'm testing out Softpress paper today, but I'm gonna have to run around and grab some stuff because I am not prepared. So just give me a moment. Hey, how was everyone's week? Hi, Stephen. So, let's see about this. Can I put this up higher? Okay, so I bought some soft press paper, and then I didn't touch it for quite some time. And I want to make sure that I'm getting out the right paper, so just give me a moment here. And I'm going to have to cut it to size, so I've got my massive guillotine here. Soft press paper over here? Maybe not if you're doing soft press paper. I think it was in Ev's Discord about storing paper. I really need a better paper storage solution because I've just been storing it in the big boxes that it comes in. So it's hard to tell. So I have, this feels like 300 pound, 258, 8. this is arches, so this can't possibly be the right thing. Is this one? Oh, sorry. And this is also arches. Okay, so now I have to go through these boxes and figure out which one has the right paper. I really didn't think this through, did I? Okay, maybe I'll put this in the other box. Woo! Okay, well, we appear to have a problem, which is I went to grab my paper. I don't know what I did to the Softpress. I ordered Softpress. I know that I ordered Softpress, but none of these papers that I have appear to be a Softpress, or even the right brand. Like, is this? This is cut. And it's also brand. Passing. This? What are you? What are you? Oh. Okay. Okay, well, that was some poor planning on my part. I don't think that I'm going to be testing Softpress because I don't know where I put my Softpress. So, new plan. What would you all like me to paint today? And on what paper? Your choices are hot press or hot press. Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm wondering whether I had it shipped to the studio, maybe? It's possible I had it shipped rough. I don't think I have rough paper. I might have cold press. Maybe. Hot press then. Do you have Cody? What is Cody? Okay, sorry. I'm painting lichen on hot press, I hear. What wonderful cooperative viewers I have. Oh, right. No, I don't. Cody. Yeah, yeah, I don't have it. Minimalism, guys. Helps me keep track of things. I'm so confused. Where did my press go? Okay. All right. Well, that was interesting. I'm going to open a Lichen book to a random page, so you have something interesting to see while I set myself up. So you can look at that. And I'm gonna go grab some other stuff. I'll be right back. Guys, I'm an idiot. I found it. Look at this. Oh. I have the box with the Softpress. Dead brain, you'll save me at my next brain fart. Yes. Hi, Lana. So today we are taking our sweet time getting started. Yeah, we need a here we can switch the pages. While I open this box. Aha! That makes more sense. Okay. So I have found the Softpress. Ta-da! I went to realize that it was down, but I've got it back now. Hopefully everyone can see me now. Do I have people back? Maybe, possibly. There we go. Okay, yeah. So I've switched my internet. And I have, I'm nudging my camera, but I have found my paper. So this is, like, before I cut it, I'm just gonna put it down here and comment a little bit on the texture. So it's got a fairly linear grain. It's noticeable. One side feels almost sandpapery. One side is a little bit smoother. It's got like, maybe like a linen texture almost. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of doing some somewhat less highly detailed, like something with a little bit more flow to the watercolors. In particular, one project I want to do was a really brilliant idea that local nutritionist, she's distantly related to my husband, suggested that I do the Canada Food Guide, and I think that that would be really useful as a portfolio piece to send out to art editors, which is something that I've been wanting to do, is send out postcards to art editors. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this up into some pieces, and then we'll see. I'm just gonna try a bunch of painting. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just line this up. And this doesn't need to be any particular size. It just needs to be straight. So try to make sure that I can fit it into a sketchbook if I want. So something like this. Line it up, and so Softpress is a Fabriano thing, and it's supposed to be halfway in between their cold press and their hot press. Now, I've definitely mentioned in some of my videos before that I just don't get along with I don't tend to get along very well with cold press. I just don't like the texture. So it's not even about how it paints on. I just really prefer to work on smooth paper. So I was wondering, because I can see from an art perspective, I can see the advantages of cold press, but I just don't really enjoy working on it. So I wondered whether a soft press might be more palatable, and I do want to give it a fair shot. Now I have to say that having pulled this out and felt the texture, it's kind of bothering me. So it's unlikely to be my, to answer all my hopes and dreams. I need to put away my guillotine. So, guillotine put away. I also realized that order, I'd also ordered some neat little washi tapes, so I will also try these. So I'll try one of them to mask off an area to paint on. Annoyingly bumpy. Still doesn't work for me. Sorry, what's not working? The video's not working? What is MT life? MT life? There's this MT masking tape. It's just washi tape. Gabor, is the stream not working for you? Oh, I answered Stephen's comment like a Jeopardy question. Sorry, I am reading the comments as they scroll past on my recording screen today, because I'm like super disorganized and don't even have my regular iPad with me. I'll probably go grab it in a moment. Does a refresh not help? Yeah, I'm so sorry if you've still not got video. I think most people have got it back. You might need to refresh though. But it's definitely streaming. Like I can see the stream here, and usually if there's any issues, other people will let me know too. So anyway, so I'm just gonna try blocking off an area here. Does anyone have suggestions about which paints to use? I have my regular palette, I have Roman Schmal, I have a number of, I have Sennelier if you want. I know that Sennelier has been a topic of discussion. I don't have a huge amount and I don't really love Sennelier paints. But they are artist grade paints that I'm happy to use. Anything but Sennelier. Are we done with Sennelier? Hi, Dan. YouTube decided to scroll back to the beginning of the stream. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Well, you're back now. I would have voted Sennelier. Guys, if you want to see my opinions on Sennelier, I did make 3 videos. So you can see that. Summarize my thoughts on Sennelier. They're fine paints. I don't like this. They have a sort of stickiness in re-wetting, which makes the way I do dry brushing kind of tricky. I also don't really love their pigment selection. I think it's bizarre to have a brand that doesn't have single pigment phthalo green blue shade. They just don't have a single pigment PG7. I think that's weird. In other ways, their color selection's a little limited. They make a lot, like their marketing is all around being very transparent. But their color selections, like they don't necessarily have all of the most transparent pigments. So I think that's weird. But you know, that wouldn't stop me from using the paints at all. They do have some really lovely paints, but I just, do I have Winsor Newton? I have some Winsor Newton. I don't have a palette set up with only Winsor Newton. I don't split my palettes by brand usually, so the only cases where I have I do have a few cases where I have a specific brand palette. So one of them is Roman Schmal, and that's only because Roman Schmal sent me a bunch of paints. So in that case, I just had so many Roman Schmal paints that it kind of made sense to put a bunch of them in a palette. So I have a Roman Schmal palette. I have a Core Mini, which I bought. So this is all core paints. Because I got this on super sale. It was like Curry's, which is the local art supply store, had a, she definitely has Winsor Newton Transparent Orange in her main. I do. I have a few Winsor Newton colors in my main palette, I believe. How about a PY150, PB60, and Sepia trio? Okay, that's interesting. Sepia will be interesting because I do have a number of paints labeled sepia, but yeah. But we can do that. We'll do that. I have a number of paints labeled sepia, but I don't, a lot of them wouldn't be necessarily like the most common sepia formula, shall we say. But I'm sure I can come up with something. Sorry, so I have, yeah, and then the other things I have, the other brands I have where I have like an actual palette that is, that's a brand palette. These are 2 little plastic palettes that were sent to me. So one of them Ev sent to me. This is the Billy Scholl set of Sennelier plus a couple extras. So it looks like this. And do I still have, Yeah, so I'm thinking about that. And then this is Old Holland, which Dan sent me. And I don't really want to deal with this right now because this is its own video. So, yeah. I don't feel like Old Holland has some interesting properties, and I don't think that I'll be testing the paper to its full potential if I'm using Old Holland, because that's like adding too many variables. Do I still have the weird My Mary Blue sepia? Probably. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, I own it, but I'm not sure that I have it. I have two studios. So the tube is at the other studio. I put away all my tubes for once, which means I don't have them with me. But I do have maybe a pan. I'm trying to figure out what I have in this studio. Weird. Aha! Yes. Okay, I do have the weird blue sepia. Half pan of it. Right here. It was in a different palette. So I'm going to use my main palette here. And ta-da, ta-da. Yeah. Oi, tia Ângela, tudo bom? Eu sinto sua falta também. Okay, so yes, My Mary Blue. Yeah, Brazilian Portuguese though. Love you too. Te amo. What language was that? Brazilian Portuguese. That's so cute to hear you talking. Like, aw. Okay, so colors. So what had we requested? It was PY 150. Yes? I get my Nicolasso yellow. And this is Indian Throne blue. I think this one's actually the M. Graham one, so it's called something else. But it's PB60. And My Mary Blue's Sepia, which is a single pigment PY 164. It's a little bit different than other sepias. Let me demonstrate. Yeah. So when it's wet, it's got this sort of opaque lighter tone, and it has a color shift as it dries. So I'm gonna do this one first, just to show you. So as it dries, it looks more like a standard sepia, but it has some granulation, some texture to it. It's really pretty, and it's a single pigment. So it's different from most sepias, but it's a pretty nice paint. So this is my Mary Blues sepia. This is anthraquinone blue, I believe, from M. Graham, but it's PB60. More commonly, it would be called Indian Throne blue. So that's this here. And then PY150, which is, you know, better known as my favorite color. I like that sepia. It looks a little redder than the Winsor Newton. I think it is a little redder, but it does also shift as it dries. So it ends up darker than when you apply it. It's interesting that way. I feel like I've still got some green here, so let's work this out. How much is my messy palette triggering people? And then I have my all-time favorite. So if I'm using this triad, we're not going to have any bright oranges or reds, obviously. We'll have some decent greens. And we'll have some, like, instead of purple, we'll have like almost a black. So I'm going to do some mixes here, I think. I'd be happy to donate my tube of PY150 to you. What brand is your PY150, Gabor? Because I might very much like that. I can never get enough of this stuff. I mean, like, it is very highly tinting, so it takes some time to get through some PY150. I'm a little on edge over the messy green bit, but the purple bit looks beautiful. The purple bit? Okay. All right. Here, I'll give you an unmessy yellow, shall we? So when it's very, very saturated, it's got this like brownish mustard color. This is M. Graham's Nicolazzo yellow. When you water it down, it goes to like a bright middle yellow. Like that. And if I mix that with, say, the sepia over here, put that here, right? So sepia is one of those colors, Stephen, that usually it's a mix of different pigments. So every brand is going to be quite different. Like phthalo green is phthalo green. You're just, every brand is going to be pretty similar. Because it's a chemical compound and it is what it is. But sepia being a mix, different brands mix it differently. And in this case, it's actually a single pigment. So My Merry Blue remade their line and they only offer single pigments now, where all the My Merry Blue paints are a single pigment. And so they have this pigment PY 164, I believe. I might be wrong about what the pigment code is. Because this pan helpfully isn't labeled. But so here you can see there's no red in this palette. Like there's just no red. Closest thing I have to a red is like a brown, a mucky yellowy brown. Gosto de ficar acompanhando sua arte, thank you. Beijos, tia. Nossa, que falta. I'm not liking the no oranges in this palette, obviously. PY164 just checked. Okay. Yes, well, there are no oranges in this palette. We can try adding some oranges, but I'm going to try just mixing this triad first, and then we can talk about what else to add, if anything. So then if I have another, yeah, so I like the texture that this paper is creating. So the only question will be, will it drive me crazy if I'm drawing on it or painting fine lines? So we'll do the rest of these color tests and then we'll see. Won't get an orange out of that. No, I definitely won't get an orange out of this. The question would be, like, I could presumably make an interesting palette where I have these colors plus, say, a transparent orange. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Okay, so if I mix these two, do I get a purple? I think the answer is really not. I get maybe a black. Gray? Yeah. This is like, you know what this is? This is the invert of, what's that palette called? That artist who uses like black and yellow ochre and Do you know what I'm talking about? Zorn, yes, that's the one. Thanks, Stephen. Yes, this is like the inverse of a Zorn palette. It's got a bright yellow, no red, and a muted blue. Okay, so that's that. The inverse Zorn, cool. I'll use what you hate. Oh my god, there's so much cat in my... Ew. 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 You're gross. The PY, his was a no blue palette? Yeah, so the Zorn palette has a muted yellow, so a yellow ochre, a bright red, like cadmium red light, or pyrrole red, and then instead of a blue, it has a black. So it's an ivory black. I mean, he painted in oil, so ivory black in oil. When you mix it with white, he also used white then. When you mix it with white, it does make a sort of blue. But it's like very, very, very muted. It is blue like this is red. Oh, this is pretty. This is so pretty. Oh, I love it. This is genius. So you can get these like deep tealy colors. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so then if I make sure I've just got the yellow. Okay, this is lovely. Thank you. I appreciate this. And I am going to go find my iPad and a snack. I'll be right back. and switch my water, which is now this beautiful, beautiful green color. What should I paint on here? This is beautiful. Thank you, Gobbler. I am looking forward to playing with this thing. Loki says hi. Hi, Loki. Can you zoom in? I can bring you in, and then I can turn on some better lights for you. I feel like mushrooms that grow on trees. Yes. Okay. I can definitely do some mushrooms that grow on trees. All right. Part 1, water and snacks. Dried ginger. And I'm back with more devices. Okay, so this away, take these away. If you like the pictures, feel free to use them. Did you just send pictures to the Discord? Wait. Steven, you got smoked hot paprika from Zero Waste Bulk? Did I get that right? Because that's amazing. Oh, there's a Discord. Yes, there is a Discord. Can somebody drop in a Discord link? Thank you, Lana. Okay. So let me just go take a look at general. Aha! Yes, okay. I definitely will use these. So I think I'm going to use the bottom section of this. Sort of. It is dark reddish, nicer than the dark. Ooh, thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Oh, that sounds amazing. I was just talking to one of my siblings about getting smoked hot paprika. And it's often difficult to find. Like, you can find smoked paprika or hot paprika, but to get smoked and hot, oh, that's great. Okay, I had asked them, in fact. Like, I specifically asked the owners at Zero Waste Bulk if they could stock it, but they'd had trouble finding it for a while. So I'm glad they listened. Okay, so I am going to sketch this out in pencil. So it's definitely got like a scratchy feeling when I'm working in pencil. But it's kind of nice. Like, it's not, I can still draw. I don't know. I feel like this would take some real like getting used to just because I'm so fussy about my paper. So yeah, there's reviewing for myself, like am I actually gonna reach for this? And then there's reviewing like in terms of if you don't have sensory issues and you're you like cold press but you have trouble painting detail, then this is great, maybe. But just only because I am fussy about my paper. The ivy around the tree is pretty too. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to put in some of the ivy. So I am, like I'm basically doing this section. So yeah, so we'll see how this, how the colors, and oh, all right. Get paint all over my hands, perfect. I think I'm also gonna move the horizon. So there's a blue horizon up here. And I'm gonna move this down a little. Just a hint. so that I can get it in the same image. Hey! Today I went to the university's botanical garden to often just make a okay, so Steven says, I often just make a quick water-based paste of 4 to 6 other zero-waste spices and then chuck the veg or edamame into the container. Super simple. That's cool. That sounds really lovely. Paulo says, today I went to the university's botanical garden to take some photos. That sounds really nice. Then Lauren says, hello. Hi. How are you? That looks complicated. Will we finish that today? Well, it's meant to be sort of a sketch. It's pretty small, so probably yes. But, you know, for select values of finish. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just put a sort of a base color over the whole thing. So I'm going to start with these sky areas. And yes, there's a little bit of yellow on my brush, and that's somewhat intentional. Because I just have the one blue. So to make it more of a green tinted yellow, that's my only choice, basically. So I'm just gonna throw in some of this. Ta-da! Just a little bit more even. So, yeah, these are going to be really, really light. And then as it comes down, it's going to get a little bit darker and deeper. So down into here. So this is going to be more bluish. Paulo, I would love to see your photos. Should I make a channel for photos? And how do people feel about others using their photos? So I try, certainly for finished pictures, to not ever use like copy from just from one photo. Like I'm always trying to adapt the photo. So in this case, the adaptation is just the colors. It's also just a sketch. So but if people are comfortable with sharing their images for reference, and are okay with others using them, then by all means we can make a photo channel over on Discord, and I would be happy to share some too. That sounds really lovely. Yeah, so if people want to share that, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, and then for the rest of this, I'm gonna have some, it's gonna go to a warmer shade here, I guess. Something more like this. A little bit more here. Photos, and I've been sharing more on Ev's Discord because I thought it would be interesting for some botanical art friends. For now you can post them wherever. After this stream, I'll go and make an actual photography channel. Photos are not paintings. Yes, exactly. So it's just a matter of like, they're their own art form, and so there's all of the choices that the photographer has made. Can you do a drone one too? Like a drone, like a painting from drone photographs? If you give me some drone photographs worth painting, absolutely. So I'm trying to throw in some more water because this is a soft press versus my usual hot press. So I'm just wondering if it can take a little bit more spreading. It seems to be doing a better job of managing the spread of paint, but I'm not sure that I'm really a huge fan of this like linear texture that it's making. Okay, take some of this and go here. So let's just grow some stuff here and here and here and here and here. Mikey. Bye, Lauren. Have a nice day at work. Joy, I need to talk to you about my management needs. And budget, because I totally will pay you. But I definitely need to be managed. Okay, and I definitely need to manage the wild spreading that's happening on this plate. Yes, this is why I'm here, Lee. Talk to me. Okay, so we might want to do this one-on-one later, but I feel like what I need is a day-to-day, just like when I've been most productive is when I had very clear direction for what I'm doing at any given time. So like in high school, I was insanely productive, where I had every extracurricular under the sun, and I would just go from, thing to thing to thing to thing for an hour. And basically, I just need someone to work with me to make that and to make me accountable so that I can get up in the morning and I know what I'm doing at every hour of the day. And, just have someone to go to figure out my daily schedule, on a bi-weekly basis and answer to. And that would be super duper helpful and I would get a lot more done. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So what I'm doing here is I'm painting around the leaves somewhat. Fairly loosely to try to get this tone in. Trying to work with the texture of the paper to make the tree bark texture, I think. And then I'll go in and add more details over top. Excellent. I have ideas for structure. Good. Yeah, so you're talking like a day-to-day scheduler and check-in. Yeah, I just need someone to tell me what to do. In a fairly, like, micromanagey sort of way. I know that that would drive some people crazy, but like the truth is I function best with a lot of structure. So, you know, it's been my struggle to create it for myself. And the pandemic has really messed with that, I think. But in any case, you know, I'm at the point where I can outsource that. And so I'm happy to pay someone else to make my sketchbook for me. And then I can just follow along, because the thing is there's always a million things that I want to do, and between ADHD and like being self-directed, and I tend to how's everyone getting on with the sketchbook exchange? I'm doing pretty well. So I did, haven't mailed it out yet, but I did Lindsay's sketch, which I started in the stream last week. And so I finished that up a few days ago. So that's in here. So this is Lindsay's sketchbook. My sketchbook is gone. I need to upload that photo, but there's a video to go with it. I keep seeing snow. I might be going crazy though. I see where you're coming from with snow. I wonder how much that'll stay on. I think part of it is the color selection. Like this is a fairly blue shifted reference photo, and then by the nature of the palette that I'm using, it's going to be blue shifted as well, which might make it look cooler, like it's a cooler color temperature, which might give the impression of snow. I also wonder whether as I fill in more detail, whether that like these things, which right now just look like reflections on snow, will look like the leaves and whatever that I'm leaving space for. So I'm not totally sure. We'll see. This is all just an experiment, so it'll come out how it comes out. I think it's good to try out different methods, you know, even if this is probably not a palette or a working method that I'm going to be using all the time. It's kind of nice to just try things. So this is going to be quite a bit darker over here. And then over here, and it's going to get even darker down towards the mid, down towards the lower parts. And then over here, I'm going to have something that's more like the reddish shade. It's really not reddish at all. This is an interesting challenge, guys. Like, starting with a limited palette like this, where it's like, well, you have no red, so anything where you see reddish, you're gonna have to substitute. It really does force you to look at things in a different way. Boom, finished my sketch. Now I can put down Skillshare for today. Ooh, okay. So then here I can start with okay, so that's it for the giant brush. Now let's use a somewhat smaller brush and get in some shapes. So first I'm gonna take some of this, put it over here, and mix it with some yellow. Didn't get on with Skillshare. I definitely understand you, Dan. I'm constantly on the brink of canceling, but these days I'm just on a roll. I've never had a Skillshare subscription, but I have subscribed to some other like online learning platform type things, and I always struggle to keep myself on task with following along with these things, which is why I haven't subscribed to Skillshare specifically, although recently I've heard some not so positive things about it. But just, knowing myself and knowing that this is something that I am likely to struggle with has been the main reason. But it's always interesting because there are some interesting things on Skillshare and on other platforms like it. I would do better in a Zoom class. Yeah, that again, it's the accountability to some other human, right? That's why I need joy. This is fun. Thanks for this suggestion. A wacky color palette I never would have thought of. But I feel like I'm really learning a lot, trying to work with it. I liked Skillshare but didn't have the time to do much. I canceled and they still took my money for months. Sorted it out and got refund and they restarted it 6 months later without permission. Oh, yuck, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I have a woman who comes here and coaches me and helps me with ADHD related executive dysfunction stuff. That's so cool. I've looked for that and I don't know if I'm just not looking right or if it's not available where I am or like what. But like I feel like I could really use that service. I don't know how I come up with these strange colors. This one was simple. Yesterday my yellow was PY3, but I deemed it too opaque. So I needed a spot for PY153. I need a person like that. Yeah, really. I've had her for years and one before her too. I don't know what I would do without that help. Well, I do, but I don't even want to think about how bad I was off back then. I mean, yeah, like I've been talking to my parents lately and it seems like myself and many of my siblings, at the very least, like myself and two of my siblings have ADHD. So my younger brother was diagnosed before I was, but his presentation is much, much different and like more life impacting in many ways than mine. One of my other siblings has a lot of the same symptoms as me and then some. They suspect that they have ADHD and autism. And so I've been speaking to my parents trying to explain, how my brain works. And in a lot of ways, I'm very similar to my mom. So she doesn't feel like this is necessarily anything to worry about, and that I am just fine, adjusted and whatever. I've found that the pandemic has really caused an issue, and then there's situational things where, I struggled a lot in university, and there were a lot of things there associated with anxiety and stuff, but it's also just, some things are just harder for me. I struggle to keep organized. I struggle to keep schedules perpetually late to everything, perpetually losing track of things. My house is like always in a state of disarray, even though it's a top priority. You know, life is all right, but yeah, exactly. I think it's difficult in families because it seems normal inside the house. Yes, so there's a question of that where it's like compared to my siblings, you know, if anything, I'm doing all right for myself. But you know how much of that is, yeah. It's an interesting, yeah, it's been interesting. I'll just leave it at that. But you know, just because I'm sort of coping, and you know, I'm 32 and I was diagnosed this year. And so there's just a lot of questions that, you know, some things just always seemed harder to me than they appeared to be to other people. And, you know, I'm not dumb. I'm not slow. I'm not lazy. So why is it so difficult for me to keep track of my things? Why is it so difficult for me to stay organized? Why is it so difficult for me to keep to a schedule? Why is it so difficult for me to pay attention in a lecture or follow a conversation? And not get sidetracked on my own whatever. Like, you probably see some of this in my streams and in my content and my habits. Like, this is just what I'm like. And so it's nice, you know, to give myself some grace, to know that no, some things are just a challenge. And then just because I know that's the reason doesn't mean that I don't want to deal with it. So having a coach to help me through would be really, really helpful. But in the interim, just recognizing that the times when I've performed best are when I have the most structure for what I do. I would love, like, I'm really thrilled that Joy wants to step in and do some management stuff for me, because I will pay for that and it'll be really, really helpful and worth it to me. So yeah. Okay, next. This is like a puzzle, figuring out like where to put things next. Oh, that's too bright. Pull that down. Let's try to get something resembling a purple. Albert says, I just tried mixing PY150 with light red, really beautiful orange. Yes. We can do a video call, all of us, if that is of interest to you, Lee. That would be wonderful. Right, Lise, tomorrow for you. Yeah, it's tough to get all three of us. It would probably be like early morning for Joy, later in the evening for you, and like midday for me. We can maybe do, does after Ev's stream tomorrow work for all of you? So then I just want something like this. Okay, so these wet and wet effects are definitely not my strong suit, but that's fun. And I just need to wet the other ones and finish doing this little mushroom shape thing. let's get some of those pretty greens in here to hopefully frame all of these blues and browns. Contrast them. So if I have a little bit more of the blue in here, then I'll have a proper green. Do this. I need more blue. Snack time. Do you remember? Do any of you remember your first wonky triad you tried? Mine was PY3, PR179, and PB82. Mine was let me think. PY129, PR209 and PB27, probably. This is one of the wonkier ones I've tried, though. This is a very interesting triad. Good skin tones, yeah. I think that's basically, like, I wasn't painting skin tones with it, but, I discovered PY129 before I discovered PY150, so I was trying to use it as a yellow, and was pretty happy with what I could do. Right now I'm switching to mobile device. Ooh. Is that a squirrel brush just to make it super difficult? I am using a squirrel brush for the bigger washes. Well, actually, what it is a silver black velvet, so it's squirrel and synthetic, I believe. But then I'm using sables for the details. I'm not trying to make myself, like, I'm not trying to give myself extra challenges necessarily. I'm using a really juicy brush for bigger washes. Makes sense. So if anything, it's just to convince myself to work in bigger washes. Because I feel like this will benefit from that. I have one color wheel with Da Vinci Quin Fuchsia, Da Vinci Prussian Blue, and Winsor Newton PY129, but I haven't tried painting with it yet. The color wheel is pretty. Yeah, I have a similar. At one point, I had made myself a palette that was like, I was deliberately trying to challenge myself, and so I was taking it out for urban sketching, and it had the following. It had Eventually Everything Mixes Flush Green Deep, which is PY150 plus PB71, so it's a granulating very yellowish green as the closest thing to a yellow. It had Eventually Everything Mixes Warlock, which is PR122 plus PB71. So it's a very purpley magenta. And whatever her paint is with the granulating black and cobalt blue, I forget what it's called. But that, and then I had from Ev, I had Salmon, which is BR101, but a very like color shifty one. very terracotta, and Spanish gold ochre and Prussian blue. So 6 paints, none of them really a true primary. Like, it was like, you know, there were muted warm colors and very, very bright granulating cool colors, but nothing like a proper primary. And I was using that for urban sketching. It was really fun. Got a blog post about it somewhere. Okay, so next, let's try to get some of this. There really is no, like, there's absolutely no red here. Like, nothing even close. So trying to get these warmer tones is a little interesting. Okay, so let's try here. Let's try to get some more the depth of tone in here. Get some textures. You have more like warm like yellow and a warmish brown. Yep, that is accurate. It's just like, okay, so here's what I'm struggling with right this instant. This area. So this area, if you look at the picture, it's like, it's a pretty pink color. And no matter what I try to mix, it just comes out quite green. Well, yeah, no, if it comes out, it's a restructuring. It's good. It's a restructuring of like how I think about color. It's a brain exercise. I am not complaining at all, just struggling. But I'm embracing the struggle. This is good struggle. From here, you don't seem to struggle, or if this is how you struggle, then I'm very far, far away from this level. Oh gosh. Everything looks easy on camera. You're not seeing my face and the contortions of like, ooh, what is this? Here we are going to have something like this. I'm just going to bring down here and add a little bit of yellow. Yep. Okay, so let's try painting this leaf thing here. Anyway, this is kind of like a puzzle where it's just finding where I can make things darker or cooler or warmer. And filling in to try to bring in the contrasts. And then, you know, find the complicated picture in here. This is fun stuff. Okay, so I have a fun idea. I got a carved stone palette with 3 wells and intend to use it with a plate to mix. So if you get many stones, you can have your dream come true. Gabbar. Guess what makes it very difficult is to have all those other colors on the palette. Yeah, I mean, but I'm like pretending that all of this doesn't exist and I'm just working in here. So I think it's always a challenge to think in relative color rather than absolute color, which is what you need to do if you're painting with a bunch of colors anyway, or different triad, right? Like you need to think, oh, this is bluer than that, this is redder than that, and sort of shift it around in color space. And no matter what you start, what colors you start with, you have to figure out, like, you know, this area of this mushroom in relation to that one in relation to this part over here. It just, you can sort of cheat a little bit if you have a larger range of colors or something that's more closely matched to your subject, in that you can exaggerate things. And, you know, you paint a brown tree trunk and it's going to read as correct, even if the relative color isn't quite right, or more correct than if you have something like this. So this is a challenge. It's a good one, though. It really builds skills. Thou shalt not be judged by your palette size as a motto seems okay. Yeah. I know it seems like a particularly UK-based way to try to get rid of stones, not getting more. I love that the UK is like Canada, where we've gone metric for like most things, But for some reason, we're just, stuck on using imperial system for random things like people weights. At least in Canada, we don't use stone, though. Lana, a stone is a number of pounds. I've forgotten how many. So in the UK, they might say you weigh 12 stone, as opposed to like 6.35 kilograms. Oh, great. I thought it was a number of pounds though, like an even number of pounds, like 14, 16. So weight? Yeah, it's weight. 14 pounds. Yeah, okay. To be true, nobody knows what a stone is. We use pounds just for babies and kilograms for everything else. Okay, yeah, so pounds shortened as lbs because libras, yeah, in Latin. Yeah. UK is weird. They sell fuel by the liter, but they measure miles per gallon. Yes. Here, I believe they'll list both when you buy fuel. So it'll be listed by liter, and also usually there's a gallon as well. Our roads, though, our mileage might be miles per gallon because we mostly use American cars. But we measure, like, on the roads, all the signage is in kilometers, and so we do that because they want to. We use kilometers and kilograms and centimeters, but occasionally someone uses mile. It's just something like far away. Yeah, I mean, I think that the UK switched more recently than other places adopted metric. In Canada, there's that, like, it's a recent thing where there's people in an older generation grew up using the imperial system and then switched. But also because we're so near the US and they still use the imperial system for everything, it's a bit tricky. Like, we need to be able to convert to some extent, and so some things we've just stuck with the American system. So like our buildings are all measured in feet because all of the building materials, like we get our drywall is, it's 4 feet by 8 feet because we get the same one as the US. All our building lumber is 2x4s. Like, well, I mean, it's supposed to be 2 inches by 4 inches. It's not. It's 1.5 by 3.5. But yeah. It varies. We weigh people in pounds and stone, but things like sugar in grams and kilograms. Yeah, everything. We use grams and kilograms for weight for almost everything. Although some things like sugar will get a thing of a kilo. And we'll measure things in graduating measuring cups that have measurements in cups as well as in um, milliliters. But we also have some things like a butter. I mean, it might say what it is in grams, like 454 or something, but we talk about buying a pound of butter um, because it's the same size as they use in the US. Is a nautical mile to measure speed, not length? Uh, I really don't know. I am completely sold out. Gotta jump off and do 0 things. Goodbye, guys. Was fun and interesting as usual. Bye. Bye. Okay. Guess we're gonna run with that. It always confuses when people use the real name. Yeah, that's got to be confusing to people who aren't, I don't know, not part of the in crowd or whatever. Who's Lise? Who's Dan? Just feels weird also to be like, so pen holder art. I mean, just Dan. And when was the last time you used a pen holder to do art? Own a pen holder. The name actually came from a song. Dan and Kat's Art Channel. Yeah, right. Not sure that Ev would be too happy about that. Yeah, maybe not. Derived unit of speed is the 1 nautical mile per hour. Ah, I see. Cool, good to know. It was always so confusing because the other thing is, like, I went to engineering school in Canada. So all our textbooks were in metric because that's what we learn in. But I was in civil engineering, and civil engineering, then again, you're going to be using imperial stock a lot of the time. And you might be designing things that are in, like, you might actually be working with American companies in a lot of cases. So frequently we'd be taught in metric units, but then our problem sets, our like actual examples, what we were supposed to be working on would then be in imperial, and it was always this weird conversion back and forth. And they wanted us to learn how to do that because it turns out that that's actually been a major issue, where, for example, NASA has tried to convert to metric several times because it's a more sensible system. But it's been a problem for them because they have all their engineers are used to working in imperial, and then they make major mistakes because they'll forget to convert something. So when you go to engineering school in Canada, they really want you to learn how to convert back and forth because realistically it's going to be your job. So that was interesting. Glad I don't have to do that anymore. Still Miss Bolt's fault. Okay, Dan's getting silly. It's that time of night. And then let's try to do some well, it seems like once again I'm kind of reaching a point where I'm going to be crashing pretty soon, so we'll see how much more of this I can manage. Certainly been interesting. Whew. I'll know by the end of the month how much of a pain in the butt it will be. Gabler offers to send it from Cult Pens. That's so sweet. Okay, one moment. I'm just gonna plug this in. Oh. Sorry about the fingers. How are we doing? Yeah, what time is it? How long have I been on? Okay, 2.5 hours. Alright, I'm gonna get some water. I'm really happy with how this is going. But yes, this is a UK tree, and yes, this is quite the palette you've sent me today. Yeah, I'm just gonna go grab myself some water. Keep running along with this, but yes, it really is an interesting challenge. Hello. I brought along a special underprivileged guest. Yeah, I'm gonna move you so that our little guest here can. Whoa. I'm sorry, buddy. I know you're falling because you're trying to. Okay. Onto the desk. And right off. Well, that was productive. Hey! Hi! I know I'm on the video and you're not on the video. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. If you want to be on the video, you have to actually be on the video. You can't just... There we go. Say hi. Say hi, the video's up here. Say hi. Grunt. Yeah, he jumped off the desk, but he was just hanging around, like, yelling at me. Yeah. Yeah. Because he wants attention. Uh-huh. Everyone's in meetings and not petting cats. It's very unfair. It's very unfair. He stepped into the paint. Did you step into the paint? Are you full of paint? Yeah. Is my paint full of cat? Definitely. Mm-hmm. This is what you wanted. You wanted attention. You wanted attention. Yeah, I have some sketchbooks that have some help in them. Yes, because you're helpful. Uh-huh. Right? Cats are helpful creatures? Is that how it works? Let's bring this up a little so that people can see more of the kitten. Yeah. Yeah, more of the kitten. More of the kitten. Good boy. Good boy. You're a tiny disaster. Good boy. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Are we done? Are we going away now? Was that enough pets? Okay, you're gonna supervise. So, Neuron's still in the room. He's gonna supervise. Nope, he's gone. You hear that howling from the other room? Come pay attention to me over here. Nobody loves the cat. You'd think we starved the poor animal. Okay, back to work. Let's try to get some more of this line stuff in. Well, then presumably this side needs the same thing. This side's kind of complicated because there's all of these little leaves in the way that I don't want to, like they're adding this little pop of color and I don't want to cover that up. Whew. Okay. Just going to try to add a little bit more contrast and definition here. So this is, I've moved to a synthetic brush, just a little square. And I'm trying to use this to add a few really pointy little details and contrast. And I'm hoping that'll help make the whole thing pop. Let's see. Masking fluid to the rescue. Yeah, I didn't really, like, I really dislike masking fluid, to be entirely honest. So I wasn't really keen on adding masking fluid to, this is just a sketch, right? I'm just testing out paper. So the idea of adding masking fluid, which I really despise, to a thing that I'm just doing, I mean, largely for fun, and just to experiment with things, didn't really seem worthwhile, shall we say? And yeah, So it's just a matter of like getting across the idea rather than getting, like, you know, if this was a finished painting and I wanted to have the ivy be exactly the right shape, then yeah, masking fluid might be the answer, but I don't care that much. I'm just trying to get an idea of how this paper behaves, basically. And of course, getting carried away with painting things because they're fun. Have to go now. Thanks a lot for the stream. Bye, Paulo. Thanks for joining. It's really great to see you in chat. Okay, and then actually, I think I'm gonna just put that up there in here. Just darken this area up and darken that area up. Okay, I'm gonna finish this detail later. I think I am tiring of this, but the last thing I'm gonna do is, even though this isn't quite done, I want to see how this comes up. I'm impatient, and so I am gonna touch up those leaves over there, but I do want to see what how this comes up like this, and that's actually really neat. So I do actually like how this looks. The texture of the paper while working on it still bothers me a little, but I might get over that. Anyway, yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for joining, everyone. And yeah, don't forget to hit like. Could somebody throw a link to my Discord up, please? And I'll post this picture up in Discord once it's done. Thank you so much. Thanks, Lana. Thank you for picking my color selection and photo. Yeah, you're welcome. That was a great color selection and photo. It's was a very interesting challenge. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.